You know, some days in rescue work are just quiet.
Good
And
morning.
then there are the other days. The days that start with an alert, a message that makes your heart sink a little. That's how this all began. A message popped up on my phone. A very, very sick mom cat had been brought into the shelter with her 7 tiny babies. 7.
And a baby.
And right away, the shelter staff could see she wasn't well enough to care for them. They weren't nursing, they were fading. When you hear that, you don't even think, you just act. So these 7 little souls needed immediate foster care. They were so fragile. Another amazing volunteer and I agreed to split the litter because caring for that many critical condition newborns is a round-the-clock 2-person job. I took 5 of them home. And when I got them settled, I finally got a good look. They were maybe a week and a half old. Their eyes barely open. Their little ears hadn't even popped up yet. They were so underweight for their age. And the thing that just broke my heart, their tiny little claws were caked with dirt. We think they were already trying to dig in the dirt, looking for food because their mom just couldn't provide. Can you imagine something so small, so helpless, already feeling that kind of desperation? That's the moment you swear to them silently, okay, you're safe now. I've got you. Once they were warm, fed, and on medication just to be safe, it was time for introductions. Getting a good photo was, it was like herding, kittens. First, there was Smokey. He was a mystery. His fur had this unusual, almost frosted look. We weren't sure if it was a fever cold, which happens when the mom is sick during pregnancy, or if he had some Siamese as him. He was the tiniest of my bunch, just a little wisp of a thing. Then there was Cordelia, our beautiful little calico girl. She had that classic calico attitude right from the start, a little spicy, a little sweet. And we had Valentina, another gorgeous girl, a little bit bigger and with a very healthy appetite, which was a huge relief. And then there was Olivia. Olivia was the powerhouse of the group, weighing the most and just full of spunk. And of course, there was Tux, our handsome little gentleman in a permanent tuxedo. The 5 of them together, they were a chaotic little pile of fur and hope. In those first few days, it was just a cycle of bottle feeding, stimulating, cleaning, and sleeping. An endless, exhausting, beautiful loop. And then the magic starts to happen. They get what we called their sea legs. One day they're just little squirming beans, and the next they're wobbling around, trying to figure out how their legs work. We played the wiggle game, where you wiggle a toy and see who has the best pounce. They were clumsy, they'd fall over, they'd attack their own tails. It was the best show in town. Valentina was the first to master the slurp when we introduced the bottle, a very important skill. You could just see their little personalities starting to spark to life. It's the moment they go from just being the kittens to being Smokey and Olivia and Cordelia, you know? Oh, and then came the day we introduced them to real food, or, a slurry of wet food and formula. Let me tell you, there is nothing, and I mean nothing messier than a litter of kittens learning to eat on their own. It was everywhere, on their faces, in their ears, all over their siblings, all over me. I have this perfect memory of Valentina with her face just covered in gruel, looking up at me like, what is this delicious stuff? And in the background, you could just hear Cordelia screaming her head off, completely impatient, like, hey, lady, my turn. It's organized chaos, but you just have to laugh. As they got bigger, the real sibling dynamics kicked in. It was hilarious. For some reason, the Calico girls, Cordelia and Olivia, decided their favorite game was to just gently beat up on sweet little Smokey. He was just so good-natured. He'd just take it and then start purring. And Olivia, she went through this phase where she thought the most fun thing in the world was to just, eat her siblings' faces. Not in a mean way, more like a vampire in training way. We'd find them all sleeping in a pile, and Olivia would just be there, numbing on someone's ear. You just have to shake your head and think, siblings. And just like that, they weren't fragile little beings anymore. They were officially the Chubby Wubby Club. They entered that perfect kitten phase where they are all belly and paws. They'd play so hard they'd just fall asleep where they stood, often in a big kitten puddle, all tangled up together. We had a lot of if I fits, I sits moments, especially with the food bowl. It didn't matter if it was empty. It was the perfect size for a nap. Seeing them so round, so healthy, so full of life, that's the payoff. That's the moment you look back at that first day, at those dirty little claws, and you just feel this wave of pure joy. And before you know it, they're all glowed up, as we say. They're basically mini cats. Smokey's fever coat grew out into this stunning, sleek, beautiful fur. They were all so shiny and healthy. Mornings were just a blur of activity. You'd open your eyes and there would be 5 little faces staring at you, ready for breakfast, ready to play, ready to cause trouble. They'd chase each other around the room, leaping and pouncing. It's a beautiful thing to see, but there's also a little part of your heart that knows what's coming next. Because the goal of fostering, the whole entire point, is goodbye. And that's the hardest part. You pour every ounce of your heart, your time, your energy into these little lives. You save them, you love them, you teach them how to be cats. And then you have to let them go. One by one, Smokey, Tux, Olivia, Cordelia, and Valentino were adopted. They found their forever families, people who would love them for the rest of their lives. And every time one leaves, it's this strange mix of sadness and incredible happiness. You cry a little, you miss the weight of them sleeping on your chest, but you know you did your job. You know that because you opened your home, they get to have a whole life full of love and safety. They get to be someone's cherished pet. And letting them go, well, it opens up a space in your home and in your heart for the next desperate call, for the next sick mom, for the next set of tiny kittens with dirty paws, waiting for someone to say, "It's okay. You're safe now. I've got you."